Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today's session is about AI. By end of this session, you will build solid foundation knowledge on AI, specifically that is built with large language models. So what are you going to gain out of this session? This will help you build prompts to the AI to have the correct information. Also, this session will help you understand what kind of tasks that can be replaced with AI and what not. All this under 10 minutes, and you don't need super math skills to understand this session. Before getting into the session, we want to tell what kind of method we're going to use to explain AI concept. In our channel, we use brain aligned learning method. What this means, we will start with a small day to day social situation, then slowly build an analogy to ingest the concepts that we want to explain. Finally, it will bring a full understanding of the topic. Why we use a social situation to teach any concept? Because our brain is evolved to understand the social behavior, and it can process that information with ease. Let's start with a social situation to explain AI. Today, we're going to use dating as an example. You might be slightly confused how that's going to map with AI. Stay with me for some time, you'll get a full picture. What exactly happens is dating. Before dating, you just have some sort of a scorecard about the person. You spend time with the person, then you adjust the scorecard. Internally, you have some personality characteristics of that person, like how attractive, how humor, how rich he is, or all those information. While dating, you know more and more information about him, then you will keep adjusting the scores for that particular attribute. You finally have some sort of a scorecard. Based on that, you make the choices. Is this limited only to dating? No. Every person we meet, we internally maintain a scorecard. We keep ranking them and we keep grouping them to a particular social group. This is what the brain literally processes. It can process hundreds of people's scorecard at a time. It can keep moving that every day. That's what all his brain is processing. Now we get into our topic. We're going to explain large language models now. First of all, what is language actually? Language evolved thousands of years ago, and the primary purpose of it was during that time it was for gossiping about the relationships between people, what kind of social group they belong, what kind of resources they can access. All these informations were exchanged with language. Our brain basically meant to process people's their social group and their ranking. This is the primary task of the brain. Now language is built around that. So it will also have the same characteristics as we process the person. In the case of peoples, each person is given a scorecard. So in language, each word is given a scorecard based on the type of emotion and relationships that it triggers. Each word will have a scorecard, keep adjusting the scorecard. That's how it grabs the meaning of the words and expresses the language. This has been replicated in the LLM, large language models. We have a scorecard for each individual words. So this scorecard is called as word vectors or vector embeddings. Each single word have set of values. Each individual elements in the values, like here you can see 8, 9, 7, 9, called as dimensions. The whole values called as a vector. How do they come up with the value? It needs to be related, right? They collect lots of text from the internet and they figure out which word comes in which context. Based on that, they'll give the words a score. Let me go to an example. Here you can see all the cities are grouped together and they are given a similar score. They are capital cities. What does an LLM do? The LLM engine has a set of values called weights. The LLM's main primary task is to predict what is the next word. How to figure out what is the next word? I'll give an example. If you typed in capital of France, in it takes the capital score and it takes the France score. The LLM engine internally has weights. Weight is just a bunch of values. It just tells the direction to go to get the next word for this. Capital has some score, France has some score, and the LLM has some values. With that, it does mathematical operations, figures out now I need to head towards the city's direction. It gives that information. So it heads towards the city's direction, and in city's direction, which has the highest probability, it just checks, and that will be the next word. Here, it'll be capital of France is Paris. When you type this text into AI, it gives a pretty big response. Then, how is the next word predicted after Paris? So, all the words together, including the Paris, is input given to the LLM engine again. So it will again generate what is the next word with that. Like it'll be Paris is. Then again you give all including the Paris is. Then it'll give is the capital of France. That will be the response. You see huge number of text that is given as an output for your text. That's all generated word by word. The LLM, all it does is has set of values. It can give the direction to go and search for what is the next word. It might sound simple, but there are lots of words and it needs to know which direction to go to get the next word. That's why it has billions of parameters. You might have heard LLMs, they have this much billion parameters, this much trillion parameters, and other things. These are all values which can tell which direction to go to predict what is the next word. All is good, but there is one problem with this approach. Now, we gave a score based on the text what we have found in the internet, but there are words which, depending upon the context, have a different meaning. Let's suppose we take the word bank. If it is used in the river related content, it means has a different meaning. And if it is used in the context of financial or cash related things, it will has a different meaning. So giving a static score is not going to work always. They come up with a self attention paper. This drastically changed how the score needs to be estimated. Instead of giving a static score, come up with dynamically based on the sentence context. They want to understand what is the meaning. What they do is they take individual words from the text, like at sat near river bank, and they arrange it and they see each word how it is related to the other words in the sentence. Here you can see the bank and river, they have the highest relation, meaning that this bank here, it means it's related to river. The score is updated such manner the LLM understands, okay, this is bank and I need to search what is the next word for it in the river bank related content. It just heads towards that direction, gives the correct response. After this, they build lots of multiple big models, dynamically read, understands, and gives the correct text. When you ask the question, you need to ask the right questions. You need to put the right words with a more high context to the AI. It will go and search in that location. I want to finish under 10 minutes. Here we are. You have foundational knowledge built around how the current AI works, how it processes the words, how the human brain processes things around us. The human brain is evolved to process only the persons, and all other things are built over that. Language, knowledge, everything. Our brain understands person rather than words and knowledge. Each person is given a character, there its dimensions, and they try to simulate what how the human brain works, and it's exactly try to replicate in the transformers model. That's the large language model which I explained now. What kind of tasks can be performed with the AI? You know how the language works. The informations that it can process is around words. Language itself has some limitation. It does not, the senses through which we perceive information, right, that cannot be fully translated to language. For example, if you taste a coffee and you want to explain in words to another person, it's not possible. Even if you have 1 billion words, you cannot explain the taste. It needs to be perceived. AI does not have a way to perceive things. So mostly it understands words and keeps predicting what is the next word. Words does not fully pass the information that we experience around us. What can be the example? Like, you want to make decisions based on aesthetics, beauty, or cultural connected things. Those things AI cannot perform. That makes end to this session. I'll come up with more videos. If you like this, subscribe to my channel. You can also check the description below for more information about this video. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you.